pure experiences.
Qualities of a student. Now, those who are reading the blog, my blog, regularly, there is a big article there on the qualities of the student. So, even before I start telling you, I'll just, direct you. If you want to know, if you want to read it in detail, go to the blog and read it, because it is like a key. It is like a 20 question key, which has been made open. Simply reading that article is going to help you immensely. Why? Because it has helped me. I'm not wrong if I'm expecting that it will help everybody, because I'm just an average seeker. So if it has helped me so much, it is definitely going to help you. And why don't I start with these qualities of the student, and I start with the biggest thing in the world, which is presence and consciousness and all, because that is how the Advaita teaching starts. It just drops a bomb on your head first, and then we sort out the problems. So one of the problem is the student is often not ready for this kind of a teaching. So what can be done? We can cultivate some qualities so that we get the effective teaching. We get it quickly, and we get it clearly, and we become expert in gaining knowledge. So if after dropping the bomb there is not even a speck of dust, then know that the student is not yet ready. I mean, some cultivation is needed, and then the teacher or the guru drops down to whatever the level the student is at, and starts the cultivation. So usually when a very very new seeker joins an ashram, he is asked to go and clean the toilets, do the gardening work, do the cooking work, do the cleaning work. But that was a long time ago. Nowadays nobody wants to do that. People will drop out. Simply they don't want to, they want a 5-star quality ashram where they can sit and listen to the 5-star quality lectures of a guru. So that is not very effective. So what we do is we just give the essential knowledge first, and then sort out the problems. It works actually. It has worked for me. I never joined an ashram, but when I encountered the teachings, it was effective. And then I question, why can't I know the thing that the other people are knowing? So, how do they know and I don't know? And then I found out that I lack certain things, which is stopping my progress. And then I started listening and started improving my own mind. As I said, we have only one tool to gain knowledge, and that tool is our own mind. So how to install the qualities that are needed for effective knowledge gain, how to root out the ignorance effectively. For that, the student or the seeker must have some qualities, So I'm telling you whatever I have learned. Probably there are more, probably there are less, probably some are relevant to you, some are not. So if you go to that article, it is your Google for everything. If you can sharpen your mind, if you can develop these qualities in you, then the knowledge will simply drop at your feet. Then there won't be any effort needed. So let us go. I'm going to give you a short description so that you go and read that article. So the first quality that a student has, ability to question everything. Now, why is that a quality? Isn't that a nuisance kind of? We don't really like people who keep questioning. So, like a child, we say, you don't know anything, shut up. This is what our parents told us. This is what our teachers told us in school. So do not question too much. Just do whatever you're told. This is not productive. A student must question, a seeker must question even the most obvious. Like we said, like we have seen two examples now. When we question, we gain knowledge. If you don't even question that there is an experience and the experiencer, what is their nature, you will never know that they are one. Somebody will tell you they're one, and you will just go to sleep. You'll go home and go to sleep, and the next day will be the same for you. Why is it effective? Because we question and try to find the answer. The answer has been given. You question that answer also. Why did the teacher said that? They are one. The most basic questioning will give you the most profound knowledge. It's not the details. Details are not important. The essence is important. Question the essence. So that's why I started with, there is something. Now, is it even required? I mean, there is obviously something. So question it. Is it not? Is it really there? What is the nature of that something? How do I even know that there is something? And if you question like this, find the essential questions to ask, not the details. You can go into the details when it is really necessary. Once you know the essence, the details will become obvious automatically. So when I've done that, actually, I've done the reverse all my life. I just, concentrated on the details. What is the name of this thing? What is the name of that thing? What is the date when this started? What is the date that started? What country is this and what language is that? These are the details. And they are totally useless. So when you are, concentrating on detail, your mind will become a search engine. It will store all kinds of information, but zero knowledge, zero wisdom. You won't be able to act on it, actually. So then I reversed, thanks to the grace of gurus and everybody who helped me. I started concentrating on the essence. And now if somebody asks a question, when the question starts, I don't know the answer, to be honest. I don't know any answer except, the most common ones. When the question starts, when somebody starts questioning, I'm actually standing like an ignorant person. When the question is complete, then I start building up the answer from the bottom up. And it is always right. Why? Because the essence, the fundamentals are clear. So questioning, an art of questioning. Do not question, about the details, question about the essence, go into the depth, go into as much depth as you want. You can go into details only after you have, digested the fundamentals. Then the second quality is the curiosity. The curiosity is very much linked to questioning, but you can question without being curious also. So it is rare to do that, but curiosity is even before questioning. Why? Because if you're not curious, you won't question it. You won't want to know anything. So this is the quality that the student must have. And unfortunately, questioning can be cultivated, but curiosity cannot be cultivated. It is in the blood. It is the nature of the mind of that seeker or the person. Curiosity. Some people are born with a lot of curiosity. They become engineers, scientists, and explorers and seekers and whatnot. Some are born with zero curiosity. They don't want to know. Whatever has been told to them, that is enough for them. Never gain any skills. Never find anything new. So these are just starting. They will become curious when the situations demand. But some are by nature very, very curious. And this, you will see this in children. They are very, very curious. And so we can say that everybody is born curious, but then the conditioning, suppresses the curiosity in most of us. So we need to remain like a child, question everything, be curious about everything. Why is this like this? Why not like that? Even if it sounds stupid, it has to be. It is a quality that a seeker must have. And interest is the next, and you will again find that interest cannot be cultivated. How can you force somebody to become interested in something? It's not possible, you see. So somebody who's not interested in spiritual stuff, knowing the self, knowing the mind, knowing this world, or learning anything, nothing can be done. Nothing can be done. That person will never learn anything. Interest makes you learn. Now, the interest can be about trivial things, but a seeker needs to be interested in knowing the essence of everything, going to the limit of the knowledge. That must be the interest of the seeker, and the interest must be phenomenal, immense. There is a story, I don't know whose story is this, that there was a student and there was a guru, and the student was always complaining, you don't tell me anything, I don't get any knowledge, and this and that, I'm probably stupid, or you are not the perfect guru. And this was going on and on for years. And one day the guru and the teacher was taking a bath in the river, and the student started the same thing. And what guru did was, took the head of the seeker and submerged it, drowned him in the water. And he did not let him come up. And he started, struggling for air. And after a few minutes, he let him come out. And the student said, why do you want to kill me? I didn't say that, anything that was so bad about you. He said, no, but tell me, how much you wanted to breathe when you're there underwater? And the student said, obviously that is the first and the last thing I wanted. That's I wanted it very, very intensely, to breathe the air. And the guru said, yeah, you need to cultivate that kind of interest to know anything at all. So if you are interested so much, if you are interested as if your life depends on the knowledge, then it will take you minutes and days and weeks to know everything. Why do we take so much time? Because our interest lies in other things. We are distracted by the more interesting things. So can somebody be, can we say somebody to not to take interest in those things and take interest in these things, spiritual things, which are probably boring for that person? No, we cannot do that. What happens is that, events happen in their life, and this interest shifts from the worldly things to spiritual things. So, but this, if you have this quality, if you can do something about it, do it. Usually, the thing that you find more interesting will be distraction, and you can get rid of. If you get rid of the distraction, you will find that obviously the interest will shift, but it cannot be done from outside. Now, there is one good reason for the interest to shift towards knowledge, and that reason is suffering. When there is suffering of any kind, the mind, wakes up kind of and wants to know the solution to that suffering. Why is there suffering? So suddenly the person becomes interested in what is it that is suffering, how to, get rid of the suffering, because the person has tried everything under the sky to get rid of the suffering, and the suffering comes back. If money is the reason, getting a lot of money does not solve it. Suffering is still there, even with the money. If people are the reason, getting the best kind of people in, surrounding yourself with the best kind of people does not solve it, and so on and so forth. And that makes any intelligent person question and take interest in knowing. Now, the third reason is bondage. Even if you are happy, no suffering. If you don't have any questions, no issues, but you find that you are in some kind of bondage, if there is feeling that you are not free, you will want to get rid of that bondage. And that is expressed as, a desire to get more, a desire to go places, a desire to explore. Ramakrishna Paramhans. Oh, he was Ramakrishna Paramhans. Very good, very good. I remember that I heard this or read this somewhere, but I don't remember who was that. Yeah, so great person, Krishna Paramhans. So bondage is another reason that makes you interested in knowing anything. If you find yourself limited, there is everything in your life, and not the suffering is little bit, not much. And there is pleasure, there is happiness, everything is okay, and you are curious, but not that curious. But there is a feeling of limitedness, restlessness, and that makes us question. So, because I come from the background of suffering, all that I knew, that it is only the suffering that turns a seeker towards knowledge. That was my initial opinion, or my knowledge, or ignorance, you can say. That I thought only the suffering can bring you towards spiritual truths. But no, there are more reasons. Probably I'm missing some more, but curiosity, interest, suffering, bondage, ability to question, these are basic qualities a student must have. That kickstarts the seeking. Now once you're seeking, once you're on the path, then what helps? I'm just going to list the things that are going to help you for any kind of effective knowledge gain, any kind of effective learning. The first thing that is needed is intelligence. Not the intelligence of the Einstein, or who is that, Ramanujan, yeah, mathematician, or that kind of, not that kind of intelligence. Just common sense, just plain simple common sense. What is true, what is false, what is BS, what makes sense, this kind of intelligence. So intelligence fortunately can be cultivated. If you read that article, I've given some hints, but the most effective way, at least that worked for me, is to stay with intelligent people. Now, I don't know who said this, or whether it is true or not, but it is said that you become a person of a kind you are surrounded with. Like if you are surrounded with people of average intelligence, your intelligence is going to remain average. If you're surrounded with stupid people, probably you will be better than them, but there is no hope. There's no hope of learning more. If you're surrounded with highly intelligent people, you will have no other option but to increase your intelligence in order to simply understand what they're saying, or simply understand what they're doing. So surrounding yourself with intelligent people is the most effective way. For at least it worked for me. I still have an average intelligence. I'm not a kind of highly intelligent person. I just copy the intelligent people. I copy them very, very effectively. So copy them and do what they are doing. And it would be kind of difficult to be in the physical presence of intelligent people, wise people, because they have their own lives. They are not always available. So the alternative is to read the books they have written. Read all the books. Read any book that you are interested in. And do not throw away the science books. Do not throw away the mathematics books, because they are written by intelligent people. Even if the stuff they are having and they contain is of no use to you, their ways of thinking, their ways of finding out those things, their ways of being, like if you read some very heavy philosophy book, maybe the philosophy is crap, but the way the philosopher is thinking, the way he is evaluating, the way he uses logic and reason and all those things, you can simply copy it and practice it, and you will start becoming like that. So intelligence is an ability, it's a skill that can be gained. So there is a lot about intelligence in my blog. Not only this article, there are many articles are about intelligence. You don't need to be hyper intelligent to know anything. And the good news is, the more you know, the more intelligent you become. This is obvious, obviously. So, and the more intelligent you are, the more you know. Now, the next one is for effective learning. The next one is open-mindedness. We have already discussed this a little bit in the last meeting, that you need to open your mind. Do not reject anything just because it does not support your existing belief. Hunt for things that contradict you. A seeker is kind of crazy person, you see. They will go and find things that nobody finds. Nobody, wants to know. The seeker will dig into very, very ancient scriptures. The seeker will actually, there are people who will dig into the ground to find what existed. The archaeologists. And a seeker will, be open to everything. Even if there is no chance of getting anything there, the seeker will go and, try to find something there. So if a new teaching is presented, do not simply reject. Just take it, because If you are surrendered, just like I said last time, you will allow that idea to enter your mind. Then you can evaluate it, whether it is of any use or not. If it is not of any use, just put it into a category of useless ideas. But open-mindedness means that you are ready to listen to everything. Now slowly you will know what is totally useless. So practically you don't need to do that. But as soon as you encounter something new, go after it. Don't leave it. This is called open-mindedness. And somebody criticizing you, somebody pointing out your mistakes, it also comes into the open-mindedness. We should be open to examine our own knowledge, whether it is a belief or a knowledge. You need to find out for yourself, become your own critic. And if somebody points out, oh, there you are wrong, do not reject it. Do not let your ego take over and beat that person up. Just open your mind, ask politely, can you show me how am I wrong? And then if the person points out your mistake, just be thankful. Be very, very thankful to that person that he has shown you the light. This is very rare. Open-mindedness is very rare. Even most intelligent people, they don't show this quality. Actually, only a seeker has this open-mindedness quality. So criticize a seeker and you will find that the seeker is smiling. Criticize an intelligent person, a professor from a university, and he will simply kick you out of the university. So open-mindedness is very rare, but a must for the seeker. Next is critical and logical thinking. So even if you are open-minded, even if you are curious, and even if you are hyper-intelligent, if you cannot logically assess, if you cannot do a critical analysis of the teaching or whatever information is being presented, or even your own experience, if you cannot become critical of it, there is a chance that you will fall into the pit of beliefs. There is a chance that you will start accumulating false stuff that appears interesting, that appears like knowledge, but is not. So this is a big subject actually, how to think logically and how to be critical. Fortunately, there are many books available, and usually you'll find that the difference between a religious seeker and a spiritual seeker, a student of religion and a student of spiritual sciences, is this: the critical and the logical thinking. It is totally absent in a religious fellow. They are not critical. They don't use logic. They use faith. They use blind belief. So you are most welcome to go there, the path of devotion, no issues. But if once you choose the path of knowledge, don't get any kind of knowledge, you see. Get the one that passes the test of minimum logic. Now you'll find that most of the things are not logical. In reality, almost nothing is logical. So why? When you're starting, this helps. It helps to sort out the false stuff from the true stuff. Then once you start approaching the truth, you'll find that it is always paradoxical. It is always mysterious. It won't fit any logic. That comes later. First, there should be this kind of attitude. Question it. Question even the best teacher. Do not be afraid. And then the next is patience and persistence. Now, this is a quality that a seeker must have, even if you have all these qualities. But if you lack patience, then what happens? You do it for a few days and then done. Oh, it's not producing any result. Or get distracted by something else. Till that happens, I'll do something else. And then you spend a few years doing that, and then you're back to seeking, and time has been wasted. So patience. If it does not happen, if you do not know at one attempt, keep trying. Now, the patience it does not mean that you simply wait for years and years and years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years for one small thing to happen. You combine the patience with intelligence and get the best results. Persistence. Keep doing the thing that you are after. Do not give up. Keep trying. If you fail, pause for a while, reflect on it, take advices, and then start it again. So nothing will happen for the first time. In first attempt, nothing happens usually. First attempts, few attempts are just learning, and then the results start coming. So, for example, if you start introspecting, probably you'll fall asleep, or your mind will take you to a fantasy land somewhere, and then you do it again and again. You will recall that somebody told you to persist, but you lack patience and you stop doing it. This introspection thing is not for me, you'll say. I'm doing it since 10 days and I've not received even one answer. So this is a lack of patience and not persisting. This will happen actually. It is very natural that the mind gives up sometimes. Nothing is happening, so why make effort? Why do so much effort? So you stop. You stop there. You don't do anything. Do something else. Do something else for a month, and then come back. Come back and do the practice. Learn that thing. Cultivate that skill. Whatever is there, again, persist. So probably it was Einstein or somebody who said that I'm not intelligent. I just persist at the things. I'm just very, very patient. That's what he said. He keeps hitting. He means that he keeps hitting at the problem till he solves the problem. Most of the people don't have this quality, you see. I've seen many people myself. They take up a skill, work on it for a week, and then it is not producing any result. They are not a rock star already after a week, and they give up. Oh, it's not producing anything. Nobody's going to give me any job. I tried for 1 week, and if you look at the real masters, they have tried. They have practiced at least half of their lives. They have spent on that skill before they became a master in that. So when I say patience and persistence, I'm talking about that kind of patience and persistence. If a seeker is going to spend not only one life, not only half life, many, many lives, you have to be that patient. Now, the next is experimentation. You learn something. Yes. This is a common rule of thumb, or many wise people have said that 10,000 hours are required to get any skill, and I think that is the minimum. Depending on our capability, we may require more. So use your intelligence to first judge whether you really need it, and if you think that you must go after that, you put the real effort. Put more than 10,000 hours before giving up. Now the next is experimentation. You have learned stuff, and you have accumulated a lot of information, and now you are all knower kind of person. But if you don't put it into practice, it is kind of useless, isn't it? So you learn that suffering is just a state of mind, and from the net, today was a happy day for you, got rid of the suffering. Tomorrow, again suffering. So what is happening is that you are not putting the teaching into practice. So I call it experimentation. And get the teaching from a real guru, and then experiment on it. So the only way to know if something is going to work is to do it. There's no other way. It may have worked for others. You will get the testimonies and the advice from others. So it's a great technique. It worked for me. Whatever is the technique, not going into the details or specifics. And you should do it. They will tell you. Your friends will tell you. You should do it. It worked for me. The only way to know that it works is to do it, to experiment on it. So whenever something, some advice is given, some recommendation is given, some practice is given, try not eating this thing, try not eating sugar, try not eating meat for such and such period of time and for so many days, and see what happens. So our response is, from the beliefs. No, I don't believe you, actually. I've seen people, nothing happened to them. It produces no result at all. Or you will have a belief that it produces that kind of result, but I don't want that result. It's useless for me. I won't do it. But a seeker will experiment. The seeker will experiment with anything, actually, which I have done myself. I experimented with many things. Diet is a small thing, So experiment. and then first-hand knowledge will come. Even if you know something for sure, it will even become, it will become even more solid in your experience. You will become very, very familiar with it. A tendency I've seen in the seekers is they don't want to, experiment on the ordinary stuff. Like if they are told, stay silent for 2 weeks, don't talk to anybody, don't even write down your thing, stay silent, stay in solitude for 2 weeks. Now they say, what is that going to do? It's very boring. So because it's ordinary. But if they are told, go and do the astral projection, go and visit the other worlds, find out the entities and all, and they are extremely interested. Suddenly they want to do it. They want to experiment on that, but not on the ordinary thing, day-to-day thing. They don't want to do it. Why is that? Because our conditioning that only the strange experiences, only the extraordinary experiences are going to bring us knowledge. And we have seen actually that no, the ordinary ones have the same potential as the extraordinary ones. They will fall, all experiences are going to fall into one of the 4 categories that we described. So you need the experience of the right kind, not of the strange kind. So if the right kind of the experience happens to be a strange one, go for it, Who's stopping you? But experimentation must be done. Every day should be a new experiment. Everything should be a new experiment. The next quality is, this quality means that a seeker is experimental by nature, is an empirical seeker, not a theoretical one, does not simply think about knowledge, goes ahead and does it too, makes it real. And the next quality is sharing. Now, why is it important? Well, you know everything, but why is it important to tell it to others? Isn't it arrogance? Oh, look at me, I know everything. That is not sharing, that is arrogance. Sharing is when you find out people who are interested in the same things that you are interested in and tell them what happened to you, what is your experience, what have you learned. Those who are already in receiving mode, they will receive. Those who are not will perceive you as arrogant. A person who trying to show how smart he is, he knows too much, so they are not ready. Those who are in the receiving mode, in receiving posture, they will probably be after you after that. Once you start sharing, they will follow you. So what happens is, not only you're spreading the knowledge because somebody has given you the knowledge, then it is kind of natural that you want to spread it, give it away, and you do it freely. And the another thing that happens is, when you're teaching what you've learned, your knowledge becomes more solid. If there are any holes in the knowledge, you will come to know, because if there is a belief, it will remain hidden till it is expressed. Try telling a lie, you will find there is a discomfort there. There is a little suffering there when you are teaching something which is not true or which is not your experience. And you will, paddle back immediately. You will say, sorry here, I just want to make it clear that it is not my experience, but I've heard this thing. Go and find it out for yourself. I just found it very interesting, and that's why I'm sharing. If you share, you will come to know your own limitations. You will come to know the holes in your knowledge. And that's why I recommend, go ahead and share. Don't be shy. Be public with what you know. And if it is correct, then it will help others. If it is incorrect, they will point it out. They will point it out on your face that you are wrong here. And that is your opportunity to correct yourself. If you are open-minded, you will correct yourself. So there are only 2 things you need to take care while you are sharing. If you have a secret, like if you have a secret technique, or if you know something that can be dangerous for an average seeker, do not share it. If your guru has told you something, if your guru has given you some knowledge and instructed you not to tell it to anybody else, don't tell it. Don't tell it. Even if you see that people already know, so this is not an excuse that everybody knows, so why not, you need to at least go and confront your guru. Why are you telling me to keep it secret when everybody knows it? Do not do it without the permission of your teacher. Probably there is a good reason the teacher is, telling you to do that. So if there are secret stuff, do not share that. Share it. unless you're very, very sure. Then do not share anything with people who are not ready, people who are totally under the grip of absolute ignorance. They will become angry, they will become fearful, they will become irritated, and they will probably call you crazy, and they will ridicule you, or anything may happen. So those who are not ready should not receive any kind of knowledge, or they should receive only that much for which they can handle. So this is a big subject, but I'm not going to go into the detail of that. You probably already know who are ready, who are not ready. So don't go and your friend is a businessman, and don't go and tell him to get a minimalist life. Don't tell him that to donate away everything. It can backfire on you actually. So those who are not ready, you need to be careful. What if you teach somebody and that person is not ready and something bad happens there? Who is responsible? So only those who are asking should be given, or only if you are very, very confident that this person is ready to receive something, then you give it, otherwise not. So sharing is okay if you are sharing it to broadcasting kind of sharing, then like I'm doing through my blog, I'm simply broadcasting it, then the responsibility lies on the person who is reading it. But if I seek out a person and try to manipulate his life in a way I think is good, because I have the knowledge, he is ignorant obviously, so that is dangerous. So share openly, but do not persuade somebody, do not push it on anybody actually. Then and yet another quality is staying away from arguments. I'll send you to my blog and read. That is, once you start knowing, there will be a tendency of the ego to argue, to show that you are right and the other is wrong. This is a waste of time. You won't gain anything. The other one will not gain anything. Why? Because you are not arousing their curiosity. You are not making them question. You are simply challenging their egos. So something, it starts nicely. It starts with sharing of knowledge, and then it becomes a battle of who is better, who is bigger, who is superior, who knows more. I know more, you know less. It becomes a battle like this. That is what we call as argument. So this is an art. How to argue is an art. How to win an argument is an art, but we are not into that business. And that is best left for lawyers, They need to argue. We don't need to argue. We need to question and we need to answer. So if you find yourself trapped into an argument, turn it into a question and answer session. Do not try to win it. If you don't try to win it, you will never lose it, because you will never go. You are not in an argument now. So first thing first, never argue with your guru. Either accept or question. Trying to teach your guru is kind of going to backfire. So you're free to question. If you think that guru is telling you bullshit, you just leave the guru and or take whatever is useful and leave the guru and get another guru. So our next topic is going to be on guru. So there we'll discuss this thing. Now yet another quality is the receiving mode, which we have discussed in the last meeting. You need to be in receiving mode most of the time. Receive. Suspend your judgment. Suspend your doubt even, I say. Do not doubt. And later on, experiment. And if it doesn't work, then the doubt will, naturally the doubt and questions will come. But sitting in doubt is going to do nothing, actually. And surrender is the major quality that we covered in detail. So read it again on surrender. Actually, it is very, very necessary. Nothing will start without surrender. And the next quality is becoming a teacher. Those who are full of knowledge, obviously they will start overflowing with it, and you will naturally find that when you know enough, when you're confident about your knowledge, you will want to teach it. And now that is a totally another matter here. So a good student is also a good teacher. You see, this is a quality in the student, that a good student who learns fast can also teach fast. Now, it is not universal. Some people learn very quickly but cannot explain anything to anybody actually because of their language limitations or the way they do it, or they don't have enough patience to sit with somebody who is asking for an answer. And teaching is an art. So a good student, because he has been with many, many good teachers, knows how to teach. So this is a quality, but not really necessary, because but if you feel this desire to share or teach, sharing and teaching are different. There's slight difference. In sharing, you don't care actually. You don't care whether the other one gets it or not. You simply share and disappear. Teaching, you are responsible for what you said. At least that much responsibility is there. So before you start teaching somebody, you need permission from your own teacher. If you don't get a permission, look for signs. This thing is not written in the blog. So look for signs. Are people annoyed by you? Are people getting irritated by your teaching? Are people getting angry, violent, or you are generating fear in them or anything? Look for signs. If such things are happening, then you need permission. You need to cultivate this art. You need to cultivate the skill first. So usually a guru knows you so much that the guru will, whenever you are ready for teaching, the guru himself will say that, okay, go and teach from tomorrow. It can be any time. So if you have a guru, if you have a very good relation, long-term relation with your guru, and the guru says, okay, I'm going now, my time is up, you need to teach, then you take it up. You won't have any other options also, but a good student, becomes a good teacher. So this was, brief qualities of a student, and even if it is brief, it is very important. It is actually more important than all these philosophical discussions that we are having. It is more important than the magical mumbo jumbo I'm telling you. So this is the real stuff, you see. This is the key. When you have these qualities, everything will happen automatically.
Pure experiences.
You are listening to Pure Experiences by Tharun Pradhan. For more, please visit pureexperiences.blogspot.in.